Today, we are going to talk about why more CMOs are investing in their personal brand. So, Neil, I think I was reading a Wall Street Journal article about how because the CMO tenures are typically like 1 to 2 years max. And so you actually see the rise of CMOs, investing in like their LinkedIn or, going on a podcast tours and all that. Like they're trying to build up their personal brands. It's interesting to me. What are your thoughts on this initially?
It makes sense because the tenure is low and you always want to get the next best job. I think the market conditions for the past few years also made it work shorter. I think that's going to change in the future because more people are hesitant on leaving a company. Also, it doesn't matter if you're a CMO or not. I think any person inside a company, it's worth building up your personal brand, assuming it aligns with the company and you're not just doing it for a selfish reason, like your own personal, like if it can benefit the company, you'll find that over time, it'll help you get more opportunities and get paid more.
The phrase that I remember is that people like to do business with people. And so when you invest in your personal brand, even when I first took over Single Grain, this was a long time ago, I had started my very first podcast. It was formerly called Growth Everywhere, and now it's called Leveling Up. That was the very first podcast that I did, which then led to this podcast. But for me, I just really enjoyed the whole process of learning and then teaching because it articulated my thoughts. And I thought to put it out there, other people can benefit from the conversations that I was having with people. And so that's why it was really interesting to me. And then gradually, the personal brand grew, right? And so we're not saying, hey, like you should try to become famous. It's more so like, how can you become a person of value? And then if people keep seeing your stuff over and over, we talk about the rule of 7 in marketing, which I now believe is the rule of 14 or the rule of like 20, where if they see you enough times, it's just like, dude, I remember you as the marketing guy or the demand gen guy, and I'm going to come do business with you. And actually, there's an example of one guy on LinkedIn in the last couple of years. He's built a $19-20 million agency really off the back of LinkedIn. And he just says the same things over and over and over. And it's smart, but he just learned how to repackage the same things over and over. And he really leverages the power of organic social there. So I think it's good because if you're like a CMO or even a director of marketing, you're kind of protecting yourself because like in a down market, who knows, like you might be like one of the first to get cut, right? So it's good to protect yourself, but more than anything, don't try to be an interesting person. Become interested in other people and then share that knowledge with other people, and then you will reap the benefits.
Yeah, and just make sure when you're focusing on brand building, talk about case studies and results and what other people are achieving from your work efforts for both B2B and B2C. Because that way, if you're a CMO and you're showing, hey, if you're a B2B, you should still show stats, and same with B2C. That way people know you're not just putting out good content, but you have data to back up that you're doing a good job.
That's actually a really important point. It's not like you regurgitating everything that you see online. It's more so like, hey, like what have you actually done? And the more numbers you can share, the more impressive, right? Because people can sniff out when something's high level, and people can also sniff out if you're just using like a chat GPT to write your case studies, because chat GPT can write your case studies for you. So that is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and then go to levelingup.com/founders. If you want to come hang out with Neil and I in Miami, February 12th to the 14th. You're going to be our Valentine. And then also we're going to hang out for the Super Bowl. So